A sound still rises from beneath a city, from hundreds of meters deep, trembling up to the surface. No one heard it, or they were prevented from hearing it. During an excavation in the ground floors of New York in 1835, construction workers discovered something unexpected beneath the concrete, an energy system completely unknown to modern science, giant crystal structures and metal corridors, requiring no cables, no steam boilers, no coal, as if a machine had been running just yesterday. But none of this appears in any history book. No academic ever asked the question, and perhaps the strangest part is this. This structure wasn't found only in New York. It was found in San Francisco, Berlin, Paris, Niagara, Amsterdam, Seattle, Jacksonville, all discovered the same way, all buried the same way, all kept silent the same way. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and your first reaction when I ask it will be, "That's absurd!" But somewhere behind that reaction, in a corner of your mind, a small voice will say, "But what if?" That voice will ask exactly this. What if we are living on top of a destroyed civilization, and we don't even remember what it was? What if modern technology is not the result of progress, but the most meager, most inadequate reflection of something that was lost? If that's the case, then the word modern itself becomes a lie dressed up as progress. And the story I'm about to tell is about exactly that lie. This story begins with a global catastrophe that historians call the Great Reset, and some call the Mud Flood, which took place in the mid-19th century. Despite the fact that such a catastrophe is still debated in the sources, the mainstream narrative either ignores it entirely or dismisses it. But in reality, this event represents the greatest rupture in modern history, the one humanity has almost completely avoided asking questions about. The moment when humanity lost all of its superior technology after a global catastrophe, and never even realized it. Think about it. What if a civilization possessed incredibly advanced technology, but the people who created that civilization disappeared all at once, leaving behind only buildings and machines? A machine won't work without an operator. And the only one who could explain a non-functioning machine is the person who built it. When that person is gone, the machine slowly becomes a statue, a monument, something indistinguishable from a cathedral. And that is exactly what happened. The world before the reset ran on energy systems we can't even imagine today. One of the most striking pieces of evidence lies in the structures found around Niagara Falls. During excavations in 1896, structures were discovered that appeared to generate electricity without using water, steam, or coal. These were called etheric or atmospheric energy plants because theoretically they operated through a system that harnessed the electromagnetic potential within the atmosphere itself. But this system is completely dead today because the hand that once operated it is gone. A similar situation existed on the coast of San Francisco. The massive metal towers, pylons, discovered in 1915 were part of a network that predated even Tesla's work and all known modern wireless energy theories. The purpose of these towers is still debated today, but according to historical sources, wireless energy was once transmitted here, on a global scale, without a single cable. Then what happened? Some of these towers were shut down as dangerous, some were submerged underwater, some were demolished, and their place was taken by the simple, cable-bound, limited energy systems of the 20th century. As if humanity one day decided to stop flying and, for walking, still needed a horse. Paris tells us a completely different story. Sources dating back to 1792 suggest that in some parts of the city, frequency-based energy networks existed, meaning an energy network was established using sound, resonance, and vibration. But the bells and resonators that fed this system were eventually removed and melted down, and historians were told they were simply religious ceremonial instruments. An entire technology was made invisible. through nothing more than renaming. But the loss of energy systems is only one part of this story. In architecture and construction, the same kind of inexplicable collapse took place. In the 1880s, massive structures were being built at a pace that is almost unimaginable today. Opera houses, libraries, stations, completed in months. Both in terms of engineering and material science, this seems nearly impossible by today's standards. During this period, according to some sources, structures called construction balloons, giant zeppelin-like vessels, were used, lowering prefabricated building components from the sky with precise control. But after 1912, these balloons vanished completely, none remain, and the pace of construction dropped dramatically. As if humanity lost a technology, and with it, lost the very ability to build. The ancient heating network in Berlin is yet another link in this picture. The heating pipes found during excavations in 1825 were made of high-temperature ceramics that even modern material science struggles to explain. These ceramics were both more durable and more efficient than modern systems. But this knowledge of materials was also lost over time, and its place was taken by simple brick and iron. And behind all of these losses, perhaps the most critical question is this: who operated these systems? The answer to this question is deeply unsettling. According to the sources, this superior technology was never passed down through written manuals, books, or instructions left behind. Instead, this technology was managed entirely through embodied knowledge, knowledge transformed into practice, knowledge that could only be gained through experience. This was called operator knowledge, and its carriers were historically referred to as giants or guardians. This class disappeared with the catastrophe of the 1850s, physically vanished, and with them, the variability of all the systems to function disappeared as well. Think about it. If you walked into a cathedral and looked at the massive organ, and no one ever placed their hands on the keys, even if it had played before, it would never play again. But the structure is still beautiful, still grand, still impressive. Without an operator, a machine becomes nothing but architecture. The operators left. The machine survived, but it had no ability to think, so it stayed alone until the day it fell silent. And the new people who arrived? What did they do when they looked at these machines? They used hydraulic systems as simple sewage systems. Energy towers were preserved as decorative towers, as ornamental elements. A structure that once had the power to generate energy simply became a beautiful building, and no one questioned it, or questioning it was prevented. The most unsettling part is this: this decline doesn't look like a natural loss alone. According to excavation sources from Jacksonville, Seattle, and Amsterdam, the most intact and most advanced technological rooms, pressure chambers, automatic regulators, were not examined. Instead, they were immediately filled with rubble under the excuse of safety. These rooms were sealed, buried, and not a single one of them was genuinely investigated. At the same time, the story told to the public was this: history always moves forward in a line. We are better than the previous generation every single day. Technology is something that constantly progresses. And this story was incredibly powerful, because no one could ever think that the era they were living in might be an era in which they had lost their inheritance. That thought would have meant tearing down one of the most fundamental assumptions of historical discourse, and that destruction was not wanted. In the end, all of the narrative converges at one point. According to the sources, we, living in this modern world that we build by pouring simple concrete over the hydraulic rails of San Francisco or the etheric generators of New York, are, in reality, technological orphans. We live on top of a massive machine and have forgotten what it does. But the heaviest meaning of that word, orphan, shows us this: whatever we have lost, in order to reclaim it, we must first search for it. and today's problems, the energy crisis, urban stagnation, unsustainability, may be the answer to an entirely different solution, a buried solution. The machine is still there, silent, dark, waiting. The only question is this: what or who is needed to turn it back on?